Notice what comes to mind when you bring that up, those words, being connected with myself. And so much of the time we work with trying to overcome the disconnection, that disconnection that's just that natural response to trauma, feeling overwhelmed, feeling powerless, being hurt. And we disconnect to protect ourselves. We disconnect from ourselves, we disconnect from other people. And it's such a joy to connect again. Maybe even connect for the first time, to really connect. Notice what comes up for you as you hear those words. It's such a joy to connect. And that might not be your experience, of course. Those are words. A lot of the time, we're quite disconnected. And part of that is the pace of our lives, the distractions, the busyness, the pressure. A lot of it is the habits that we've formed through our life of being disconnected. When it wasn't really safe, we didn't really feel comfortable. When we're not comfortable feeling what we're feeling, then we try to get away. We mute it sometimes by something that will help to numb it or take the rough edges off. We might go into a daydream or a fantasy about something. We might drink or eat or shop or do something like that. Adults have a lot more resources available to them than children do. And then we get on this healing journey and we do this work of coming back to ourselves, of really learning who we are. And we might have had decades of the inner critic shaming us, or of other people shaming us, which is often the case, especially when we're children. And so that's the prevailing weather here. That's the prevailing atmosphere, is feeling like there's something really wrong with us. And we have core deficiency beliefs that come along with that feeling. I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, there's something fundamentally wrong with me. And then we begin to see through those and see, in fact, that they are responses to experiences that we've had, that they're not the truth. It's not true. And that frees up a lot of our energy when we really get to see that those beliefs that we had were formed from our experiences and they're not true. We're not bad, we're traumatized. And that opens up a door for a kind of self acceptance that might not ever have been really available before that. When we believe deep down that there's something wrong with us, it's not a far step from there to believe that we don't deserve to be happy, or that we deserve the bad things that have happened. And that's not true. Bring your attention in and see what you could do around connecting with yourself right now. What is the atmosphere? What are the possibilities right now? There's so many levels that that can happen on. Certainly, a lot of it is directed by the mind. But the mind isn't just the thoughts that roll through, it's also the body mind. It's the deeper layers of the mind, our intuition, our wisdom. Be aware of your whole entire body from head to toes. And notice if you can be aware of your whole body, just on a purely physical level. If you're finding tightness through your neck and shoulders or clenching your teeth, if you have a tight gut, could you still be present with that? Part of the practice is to develop the capacity to be present with what's not ideal. So just because we have some pain or tightness in our body or in the energy field or in our mind doesn't mean that we couldn't be present with ourselves. So notice that. Can you be present with yourself just as you are, not having to change a thing? And over time, we widen that window of tolerance. We have the direct experience that it's okay to be here, to attune to ourselves. And notice as you're paying attention to your whole body and that whole space your body is occupying. Notice your thoughts about that. What's your relationship with that right now? If you see there's something tight somewhere in your body, could you soften it with some kindness? Are you feeling frustrated by it? Are you feeling like that's okay? It's not okay. Our bodies are so driven by unconscious patterns and reactivity. It's almost like a child. If a child was scared, you wouldn't probably give them a hard time about having a fear response. Well, you might, depending on what it was. Sometimes a child is screaming or being aggressive or not really wanting comfort. So it can be harder for us. So that could be happening inside too. We could have these fear responses that are difficult for us to stay present with. And just now, for a few minutes, could you open up some space for that? And bring your attention as well, everything that's easy to be with. Maybe it's such a relief to lie down and lie back and let your upper back settle. Your shoulders relax. Let your breath become more smooth and even. And notice what's here that's still. Notice the stillness in your body, your mind, your being. Let's let everything else move to the background for a bit. We're not rejecting it. It's okay that it's here. For a little while, though, let's focus on what is healed, happy, maybe, still. You might bring your attention into your heart center. Let your attention rest there for a moment. And there might not be any need for words. You might just have gone right into that stillness and letting yourself rest there. It would also be common for there to be lots of thoughts about it or thoughts that take you away. That's one of the ways that we disconnect. We think about other things. Bring your attention as though you're watching your thoughts from the back of your head. Notice what's coming through your mind. And see if you can remain in the observer, if you can remain present to yourself with your thoughts, with your body. Notice the habits of the mind, how we disconnect through the mind, and then bring yourself back. What is your connection with yourself right now? What is your relationship with yourself right now? And notice the response that you have to whatever it is that's arising. It's easier to be connected with ourselves if our mind is calm and quiet, if our body is kind of responding well to the relaxation. Maybe we're really noticing our breath and letting ourselves be calmed by the breath. Most of the time, we don't even notice that we've disconnected. It's like watching thoughts. We're watching and seeing them come and go, and then suddenly we come back to it and realize we've gone off on a train of thought. This connection works a little bit like that as well. We're connected, we're aware, we're noticing what's going on. And then we notice we've gone off in a train of thought. Something else has happened. And one of the keys to reconnecting is to be kind with ourselves. When we disconnect and we can come back with kindness, patience, understanding, it's easier to come back. And we can come back into the body, into the breath, into watching the mind. And if there's something that's going on right now in this moment or in your life that's distressing or upsetting you, and see if you could be present with yourself with kindness, with an intention to bring compassion and connection to yourself. And if that's difficult, notice what's going on around that. Why is it hard to connect when there's certain things going on, certain thought pattern or a certain energy in the body? Why is it that we need to disconnect at that time? And even if that was true in the past, is it really true now? We know through experience that when we stay connected, when we become aware of a tightness in our body somewhere, that it starts to settle and soften. And then that becomes our experience. It's actually safe and it's actually okay. It's better to stay connected. We get to know what it is that's going on, what it is that needs to be seen. We can do that now in a way we never could before, and without expecting ourselves to be perfect at it either. We stay in tune with our body, our breath, thoughts. We rest. We notice the stillness that's here. Come back to those words, the words at the beginning about the joy of being connected, of being kind and compassionate, unconditionally accepting ourselves. Notice your response to those words now. Feel that in your body, your breath, your mind, your whole being. And if you like, you could set your intention to deepen this connection with yourself, to take the time to nurture and cultivate kindness, compassion. Kindness and compassion are such a key. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.